We'll go next to another top 15 matchup. This one pits number 8 Alabama on the road at number 14 Missouri. This game will be 12 o'clock Eastern time on ABC from 4-0 Field. Alabama holds a 6-2 series lead in delivering the most recent defeat, 34-0 last week. Kalen DeBoer, incredible record overall as a head coach. He's won 17 and 17. Most remarkable, though, against AP top 25 opponents, that's when he's been at his best. And in particular, in ranked versus ranked matchups. Ranked versus ranked matchups, he is 13-2. One of those losses was to Tennessee last year. The other was in the national championship game against Michigan when he was the head coach of the Washington Huskies. Eli Drinkwitz on the other side has done a great job. Missouri's program is kind of a perennial 500 team. Now, over the last couple of years, they've kind of transformed into a legitimate SEC contender. It broke through in 2023. They went 11-2. They beat Ohio State there in the Cotton Bowl. That was then followed up, which might have been even more impressive because everyone was aware of what Missouri was capable of. They followed up with a strong 10-win campaign last year that included a Music City Bowl win. However, Eli Drinkwitz has not been great up to this point against AP top 25 teams. As a head coach, he's just 7-14. So that's something to keep an eye on. The quarterback matchup, another good one in this game. Ty Simpson, through 5 games, he's completing over 70%, thrown for nearly 1,500 yards, has just 1 pick against 13 touchdowns. That 1 pick came last week in a 4th-and-1 situation. That wasn't a great decision, but at the same time, it kind of served as a punt. They actually pinned Vanderbilt inside their own 10. He threw for 340 and 2 touchdowns in that game. And I think if you look at where things are going for Ty Simpson, the best is yet to come. The guy has been on a steady ascent towards the top of the sport, and there's very few in the country that are playing more confidently than him, especially the last time he went on the road, hostile environment against Georgia. He was incredible. 3 touchdowns in that performance against one of the better defenses in America. Bo Pribula on the other side has been really good for Missouri. Very efficient throwing the football, completing over 75%, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. But what makes him unique is that he's a real dual threat quarterback. His legs are a critical aspect of this Tigers offense. Now, through the first 3 games early in the year, he had rushed for 76 yards and 3 touchdowns. So on every single snap, you had to account for him. Those have come back to earth just a little bit, but his legs are a huge problem, and he can break you down in scrambles, and he can also create misdirection with how they try to run the ball to the outside. Injury report is pretty significant for Alabama. They've been without Quay Russaw and Jamarian Latham. Those are 2 end-of-the-line of scrimmage players, 2 edge players. They're listed as Wolf linebackers. Those 2 guys are both out in this game. And knowing this is a group that really wants to set the edge in the run game, their absence could potentially be significant. And then for Missouri, they do have a starting guard, Logan Reichert, who is listed as questionable right now with kind of an undisclosed injury. His absence could maybe affect the interior of that offensive line, which will be pivotal for those guys to play well against a quality front for the Crimson Tide. Question number 1, can Missouri's rushing attack create problem for Alabama's defense? Definitely the biggest matchup of the game. Missouri's offense is built around trying to create a physical, punishing ground game that does a really good job of forcing the defense to play horizontally. So when you have a run game that forces you to play horizontally, they get you running sideways, and then boom, their running back puts their foot in the ground, gets north and south, and they become very difficult to tackle. As a result, Missouri's averaging 292 rushing yards a game. That's the 3rd best rush offense in the country. And their running back, Ahmad Hardy's been an absolute force. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. He's a legitimate All-American contender. He is without question a top 5 running back in the entire country. In this rushing attack, they're going to be going against an Alabama run defense that on paper is pretty vulnerable statistically. They're allowing just under 5 yards per carry. That's 104th. Part of the problem for Alabama's rush defense has been inconsistencies in run support from their defensive backs. So a big part of this game will be Alabama's safeties making sure their eyes are in a really good spot. So when Missouri hands the ball off, those guys plug gaps accordingly and get the necessary stops without allowing a lot of yards after contact. They also need to do a great job tackling in this game too, because Missouri is a very difficult team to bring down in the open field. So we just mentioned how the secondary needs to be really good in run support, right? Well, that leads us to question number 2. If Alabama's secondary is super committed to stopping the run, can Missouri's wide receivers win those perimeter matchups? So Kevin Coleman is their go-to guy. He's mostly a catch and run guy, really good. You get him the ball, he does special things with it. He's got 39 catches for 386 yards, but just 1 touchdown, but he's really, really good. The guy to watch in this game is probably Marquise Johnson. He's the big play threat. So off play action, those safeties get nosy. Marquise Johnson's the guy you got to keep an eye on. He's the downfield threat with tremendous speed that could be a problem in creating chunk yardage through the air. They also have one of the better tight ends in the SEC with Brett Norfleet as well. So this is a really good passing attack with an efficient quarterback and a passing game that does a great job of marrying up what they do in the run game. So it'd be very important for Alabama's secondary to be sticky in coverage and not allow those guys to get behind the defense. Question number 3, can Alabama's receivers continue to create problems against Missouri's secondary? Now, you look at Missouri's stats, their profile defensively, really impressive. But they have been compiled against a slate of opponents that don't have anywhere near the firepower that Alabama has on the outside. Look at the secondary. They're allowing right now about 100 passing yards a game. This will be the first really big test of the season. I think Kansas is a capable unit for sure, but Alabama's passing game is really multifaceted. They also have explosiveness, and they have a lot of variety with the personnel that they have. Their wide receiver, Jeremy Bernard, he is a guy that can do so many things with the ball. You can hand it to him, you can throw it to him short, you can throw it to him deep, you can throw it to him on the underneath, you can get him in catch and run situations. He's got 5 touchdowns. But this is a really good group kind of across the board. Ryan Williams, he has been plagued by a few drops, but he's a playmaker and remains a threat on every single offensive snap. His ability to separate is unique, and he always can create big plays in a moment's notice. You also have the length that you have to account for with Isaiah Horton, who's at 6'3" and change, 6'4". He's a big body on the outside that could become a problem on third down and in the red zone. And don't sleep on tight end Josh Cuevas, who seems to be getting better and better and better as the season goes along. Very reliable piece there as kind of the H move tight end for Alabama. Question number 4, is Missouri for real? Like that's the big question. Like, I watch this team and I am super bullish on what I've seen from Missouri up to this point, man. They look great. I think they look really good running the football. I think they are tenacious on the defensive side. I think they do a really good job of knowing who they are on the defensive side. They stay very committed to what they are offensively. This is a well-coached football team with really good personnel. And the numbers completely support this team being elite, especially on third down. But you also have to take into account, who have they played up to this point? That's a real question. But if you look at the numbers, let's just start with the numbers specifically. Remove the level of competition. They're averaging over 45 points a game. That's 7th. 550 yards a game. That's 4th. 300 rushing yards a game nearly. That's 3rd. And they convert nearly 62% of their third downs. It's number 1 in college football. That's on offense. Well, what about defense? Right now, they're 2nd in total defense. They're number 1 in rush defense. They're number 3 in third down conversions allowed. But here's the problem. They've played the 109th ranked strength of schedule. So are these numbers very much legit, or are they inflated? There's really no way of knowing right now. And I think you could even ask Eli Drinkwitz, or you could ask someone else that has played against Missouri, and I'm sure they're tipping their cap to just how good this team is, but none of us really know. Meanwhile, Alabama on the other side has played against Florida State. They've gone to Georgia, and they've beaten a really good 5-1 Vanderbilt team that's currently ranked in the top 25. I'm taking Alabama, and it's because they're battle tested. I would, however, take the points here. This number is around 3.5 or so, 3 in some places, 4 in some places. Probably take the points. I think it's going to be a very close one there in Como. This might be Alabama's toughest test of the entire season, especially when you take into account the 2 teams they've faced the last 2 weeks and going on the road to Georgia, coming back and playing against a quality Vanderbilt team at home, and now having to go on the road again against a top 15 outfit in the Missouri Tigers. I'll take the Tide, but I think it'll be close.